Thank you. Wow. There are a lot of very young faces in the crowd tonight. Well, startup companies like young people exist best in an environment where they are nourished by conditions like courage, determination, creativity, and if given those kinds of conditions, they can really thrive. So thank you very much for sacrificing your dinner for this light chat between Mrs. Lam and Jack. I promise you the next few minutes will be worth waiting for. Maybe just to kick things off, we will put our special guest of honor in the hot seat by throwing her the first question for this chat. And I will ask you a question which is a variation on this evergreen theme of public sector money versus private capital. It goes that public money, taxpayers' money, along with the social obligation, along with constituencies' interests, can they compete with private capital that is motivated purely by profit in the nurturing of entrepreneurship and innovation?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Eugene. I'm already in the hottest seat in town, so I don't mind your question. Well, first of all, let me say that I have really enjoyed the presentation because since taking over my job on the 1st of July, I told Jack Ma, I have really a new perspective about the creativity and innovation in this city. So I have visited quite a lot of innovative projects, startups in Science Park, Cyberport, and other places. And this evening, I have this experience of listening to even more wonderful and sophisticated startup presentations. That is why I said that we, as a public sector, also want to use some public money to kickstart and to promote more startup and innovation in Hong Kong. But as Eugene pointed out, using public money, which is taxpayers' money, does come with a lot of constraints because of the accountability, because of the rules and the regulations. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. But that's why I think some form of partnership between public and private will be ideal. For example, how much money, Nick Yang? We have an innovation venture fund, 2 billion. We have a 2 billion innovation venture fund, which is to partner with venture capital companies. If they find a good idea they want to pitch in, then we put in part of the fund to provide that project. So all the risk assessment thing will be done by the venture capital company, and we just put in the additional capital in order to turn that very good idea into reality. So I certainly like to have this sort of jump-starter program collaborated with the government so that we can achieve that sort of public-private partnership that I have been talking about. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Lam. A few opening remarks also by Jack. So, Jack, you are a Yangtze River crocodile. You are one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world and a budding movie star. So you will... budding movie star, right? And in your experience, looking at so many startup companies and enterprises and ideas, can you tell us 3 of the most critical elements that can ensure your success, particularly from taking an idea from concept to enterprise to success?
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed the show and the pitch. Great. It reminds me that 18 years ago that we went out raising money from venture capitalists. Unfortunately, we were rejected by all the venture capitalists. But we're still talking like that every day. I think the advice that I've got is first, you should be optimistic. Always optimistic. A great entrepreneur is optimistic for the future. And you have to ask what problem you can solve and what the way, how you solve it that's different from the others, why you can do better than the others. Second is that you have to find a group of people working together with you. Those people believe the same vision. Those people coming to join you not because it's a job. This because they believe the dream, they believe the mission, and they believe the vision. And don't have to find, there's no best people in the world. There's the best people is always working with you in your team. And third, what price you're going to pay for it, what kind of how you would sacrifice. Do not think what I will get. You have to ask what I will give. Should I win in 3 years or 10 years? If you have a great idea, prepare for 10 years. You're lucky if you win in 1 year. But most people will not have this opportunity. So these are 3 things. Optimist with a vision to solve the problem in your own way. Working with a good team and train the team, work with the team, the team also will train you. Next is what you will sacrifice for that. And how long you prepare for that. Don't say, I want to win next month. I will succeed next year. Impossible. Forget about it. If you prepare for 3 days, if you think, I will win this in 3 years, prepare for 5 years. My first round money I gathered from 18 founders, $50,000 US. We thought this $50,000 can last for 10 months. We even count every cent we spent, but only last less than 4 months. We're almost bankrupt. So.
本视频有可能会改变您的一生。改革开放以来，第一批个体户发了，第一批炒地皮的发了，第一批买原始股的发了，第一批搞互联网的发了，第一批做网商的发了。为什么这么多第一批发了？因为他们都凭借眼光和行动力，牢牢地抓住了时代赋予的商机。如今还有什么第一批轮到我们？全球经济每隔3到5年就会有一次重大机遇出现。恭喜您，互联网+的时代到来，您有机会成为第一批云商。只要您牢牢把握住，您也会成为第一批富起来的人，从而改变命运。
当今社会，手机已经成为人们生活的一部分。你在玩手机的同时，是否想过利用一部手机就能住家创业，无需进货发货？很多普通人通过我们实现了自己的财富人生。我们有高效的运营团队，自动人脉倍增系统，100%成交客户的沟通方法，手把手教你如何运作。如果此时的你没有创业方向，如果此时的你想改变生活现状，如果此时的你有着赚钱的梦想，欢迎咨询微信9086-05026，9086-05026。
真正的精彩在后面等着你。
These are the things that I give you advice.
Can I just add? I used to share this with my civil service colleagues, how to be a sort of good public servant. It's also 3 words. One is passion. Second is commitment. Third is empathy. So I'm sure you all understand why you need passion and commitment in your job. But what strikes me at least the 3 presentations that when I came in, I have this chance of listening, they also have this empathy. That sit and shower is out of empathy. That one day we'll become old. We don't want our private parts to be touched. So that's why we better design something that could avoid that sort of unpleasant experience. And for the Farm 66, it was also out of concern for what people eat. And of course, this final one about surgical robotics is to have more higher precision in surgery so that the mortality rate will be lower and the surgery will be more successful. So I think in doing innovative technology and startups, if the creators also have this sense of, this strong sense of empathy, it would perhaps also be a recipe of success.
But what about what Jack just mentioned, the 3 things, optimism, vision, and perseverance, I guess. There's no shortage of optimism. A lot of people are very optimistic. and vision. Many people are visionaries. But what about that perseverance? Can a partnership such as the public-private partnership wait for 10 years for return?
Everybody wants some quick win, but unfortunately, in reality, you really need to wait. So I would say that, echoing what Jack said, if you have a good team who could provide that mutual support, that moral support, that strong sense of encouragement, that will perhaps help you to persevere in the midst of difficulties. I don't think we are born to succeed. We really have to work hard at it. And sometimes you have to spend a bit more time in order to get to that final destination.
Yeah. When you have this idea to do something to help the others, the very important is that you have to ask, what will you give up, not what will you get. Only when you know what will you give up, then you will be able to get something. And for the public thing, my idea is that for the government, if you cannot give in money to those startups, why not reduce the tax for them?
I'm doing that.
That's right. This is what I heard from Governor. I think Hong Kong actually is a great place, and the policy she just mentioned that I hear very few cities in China that's doing that, and reducing. We have a lot of in China, a lot of big cities giving policies and giving tax good conditions for only big companies. But if we can give like startups 3 years no tax or 5 years 50% tax, then we're giving them at least more time to go. At least the government is supporting them. This is what Hong Kong is doing, and I think will help a lot.
What else do we need? What else do we need apart from low taxes and funding? What other aspects of infrastructure do we need?
Let me say it this way. As a business, both governments should build up the environment, and also the entrepreneurs. You have to know that first you have to reach the market. You have to be able to reach the money, reach the technology, reach the talents you need. So for reach the market, Hong Kong is a great place. You can reach the China mainland. You can reach it outside the world. Today, using the internet, you can reach every corner of the world. And the second, you have to reach the money, inclusive financing. Hong Kong is good. Be able to reach a lot of venture capitalists, a lot of money. And third, to reach the technology. Right? This is also today because of the technology is getting more and more inclusive. So be able to do that. And the third, reach the talents you need. But a lot of startups, they always love to talk about, well, I've got a great VP vice president from multinational companies. This is me. I don't like this kind of. Because as I said, if you are only a tractor, don't try to put a Boeing 747 engine inside. It will destroy you. You should find the people that is suitable to your company. I have hired a lot of vice presidents from big companies in early days of Alibaba. They almost destroyed my company. Right. I only have $5 million totally. The guy came in with a marketing plan for $12 million. So I said, how can you have a $12 million? He said, I have never made a plan below $20 million. So find the right person, and the government and also should have a lot of training courses for these entrepreneurs to teach them and train them, and also a lot of stuff. That's something.
Well, of course, from the government's perspective, I will perhaps just add a couple of other things. One is, of course, leadership. If any economy, any city really wants to succeed in innovation and technology, inevitably in the current globalized environment, you do need some government leadership. So I hope that in my first policy address, in the chapter on Hong Kong's economy, I have put financial services to the end and innovation and technology as my first sector that I want to develop in order to impress upon a lot of people that Hong Kong is now very serious about innovation and technology. Second thing is about culture. It would be very disappointing to see that when young people are now very innovative, very willing to take some risks, but their parents said, no, son, daughter, you better go into a paid job instead of running all this risk. That would be very damaging to the young people who have this motivation to do innovation and technology. But cultural change is not something the government or this government could do. So it relies on every one of you in the audience to give that strong support and encouragement to people around you who are willing to commit to this sort of work.
Well, it's not just culture, right? It's also some of the practicalities of living, working, and existing in what, frankly speaking, is one of the world's most expensive cities. You might be happy to know that... Have you seen this, by the way? This is a little souvenir that the organizers are giving out outside the conference. So there's a big question on a billboard outside. If you have $1 million, what would you use that $1 million to do? Pick blue if you're going to use that for buying yourself a good holiday, pay off your debts, buy an apartment. Pick white if you're going to use that to start a venture. What do you think the result of the poll is? Everybody who's gone through the entrance registration has picked up one of these. So what do you think the result of the poll is?
I suppose it should be predominantly white. Why do you need 1 million for a holiday?
Yeah, if you do the poll in this room, they'll probably pick up $1 million to do a business, right? If you're on the street, I don't know.
Well, you'll be, it's actually half and half.
Half and a half.
Right, so there are half, I guess half the audience are practical minded. They do want that $1 million holiday, but the other half are trying to invest that money in startups. So there is hope that this culture that you've been talking about is changing. So moving on to other questions on the to-do list. What else is there on your to-do list for the term in terms of nurturing innovation?